in the afternoon sunlight. They sure are, man. And you do get some shade out here. For those who haven't been to a game here in person, because only a few thousand people had the privilege at the very end of the season last year to catch a game here in person. Over the 2 out of the 4 sections, the 2 bigger sections have the canopy. They've got some cover here, so it takes you a little bit out of that sunlight. But for the seats, like in the two behind the two baselines that are out in the open, yes, the sunlight is absolutely glimmering off of those seats. Be like Marla and text us. Text line is always open, man. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123 is the station text line. Alex, do we have the YouTube? Is that going off now?
We're live on YouTube now.
Yes, we're live on YouTube.
Transition from Big O to Man of the Match, so we're live.
Yeah, like I tell people, there's always a couple minutes.
Right, there's always transition,
of the transition. Yeah, there's always a couple of minutes because we always need to, because there's not a lot of time between shows. There's only a few seconds between shows, and we have to stop the feed of the show that's ending and start a new feed for the show that's just beginning, because we want to make sure there's separation between the shows. Otherwise, you're listening to an 11-hour replay at the end of the day. So we want to be able to divide it by shows so people can get the replays more easily. But if you want to join us, we're live, guys, on YouTube. Go to YouTube on the apps or youtube.com. Search for Onside Radio. You're going to see a red button that says Live Now. Click on that video and join us on the chat. I'm going to log on there myself within the next couple of minutes because the live chat on YouTube, you can chat with each other. You can chat with me. We've been doing the video streams to go with the audio for about a month now, and every single day, a discussion from the live chat turns into a discussion on the show. We're very interactive with it, and you guys and girls, quite frankly, are very creative, and you come up with some good ideas, and we always bring the messages on the air. So we have very, very good times with that, man. I'm in a great mood today. Had a wonderful Easter weekend with my family. I didn't have nearly as good of a weekend as Paul Pierce, though. I don't think I can top his. He didn't have Good Friday. He had Great Friday. I don't think I could top Paul Pierce's exploits from the weekend, but I had more of a wholesome weekend. Spent some time with my wife, with my parents, with my son. Sometimes, guys, when you see the world through a 3-year-old's eyes, it makes you appreciate the little things, okay? My son had a first experience. I took him on Sunday morning, on Easter morning. I drove him through a drive-through car wash. First time he ever experienced that. It was like a kid in a candy store. It was going crazy. We're inside the car, and the big brushes are going through. We're getting sprayed with water and soap. He freaking loved it, man. It was like being on a ride at Disney World. He absolutely loved the drive-through car wash. So when you can experience something minor like that through a 3-year-old's eyes and see how much joy he takes in a mundane thing like a drive-through car wash, it's easy to be in a good mood. I mean, I'm ready for my Inter Miami starting in a couple weeks. My Inter Milano continues to tear it up. They got 3 points and a W against Bologna over the weekend, and saw rivals AC Milan drop points, 1-1 draw with Sampdoria. Juventus, woof, they drop points again, 2-2 at a draw in their derby against Torino. So Inter are now +8 over Milan with a game in hand, +12 over Juventus with 10 games left to play. Very cautiously optimistic that an Italian league championship, the Scudetto, is soon to come from my beloved Internazionale. So I'm in a good mood from that aspect. And, yeah, the local teams, for the most part, did their job and took W's. I mean, the Marlins did drop 2 or 3 against Tampa. We're certainly going to pick Alex Aguirre's brain on that throughout the show, but they did get a win to close out the series, which is nice. First W of the season is always good. My Miami Heat keep rolling. 4 straight victories now for the streaky Heat, right? Not long ago, they had won 10 of 11 games. Then they lost 6 straight. Now they've won 4 straight. They'd be in the 5 seed if the season ended today. The 4 would be my target, and, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be very important, but the Heat are coming alive, and they're coming alive now. Getting some contributions from Victor Oladipo, even though Oladipo has not even come close to reaching his offensive efficiency yet. Like he's not been shooting well in these last couple of games that he's played in a Heat uniform. So once Victor Oladipo starts to really figure out how to work within the confines of Eric Spoelstra's offense, the sky is really going to be the limit. But he's already contributing defensively. I'm liking Nemanja Bjelica a lot. And I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to say it again to Ira Winderman and get his reaction. He's going to join us in about 22 minutes. Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel is going to join us for his weekly spot on this show, the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report. Based on their defensive versatility and flexibility, their ability on switches, they have so many players do the Heat that can guard multiple positions. The Heat are the biggest threat to the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference. They're not going to be the 2 seed. They're probably not going to be the 3. They're certainly not going to be the 1 seed. But to me, the Heat pose a bigger threat to Brooklyn than Philadelphia or Milwaukee or anybody. If Brooklyn does not win the East this year, it's because the Miami Heat have won the East for the second straight time. You can talk to me all you want to about how, Brooklyn can just sneeze and they score 140 points. It's so effortless for them. And, once their big three, if they can stay consistently healthy through the playoffs, it's over. I know that that's the direction the NBA has gone in. The microscope is on offense, potency. That's really what's been shining in recent years in the NBA. But there's still a place for defense, especially in the playoffs. In the playoffs, defense gets magnified. And that's where the Miami Heat are going to have the opportunity to really frustrate the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to say it. The Miami Heat will pose the biggest threat to Brooklyn in the East. I still think Brooklyn, you can pencil them in certainly as the favorites to win the Eastern Conference and come out and play in the NBA Finals, probably against the Lakers. But I think the Miami Heat pose the biggest threat to them. It's always nice watching the Heat beat Cleveland. And really, at the American Airlines Arena, whether there is a full crowd or barely any crowd, due to COVID or, no crowd earlier in the pandemic, it doesn't seem to matter. How about this stat? The Miami Heat have won 20 straight home games against the Cleveland Cavaliers. 20 straight times in the AAA or the FTX Arena, whatever we're going to be calling it soon. The Miami Heat have been victorious against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that included LeBron James's time back in Cleveland for his second stint there. So that is pretty goddamn impressive, man. The Miami Heat, it's been a long, long time. Reminds me of that gif from the old woman in Titanic. It's been 84 years. That's what it feels like for the Cleveland Cavaliers as far as the last time they beat the Miami Heat. I was looking at the updated ESPN power rankings in the NBA, and they have the Heat now at 11th, and that's up 5 spots from last week. Their previous ranking was number 16. Their new ranking is number 11, and they say the streakiness continues for a Heat team that has been up and down all season. They go into Tuesday's game, that's tomorrow, against the Memphis Grizzlies on a 4-game winning streak, which comes on the heels of a 6-game losing streak, which came after winning 11 out of 12. Oh, I think I said 10 of 11, but ESPN's right. They had won 11 of 12 prior to that losing streak. New acquisition, Victor Oladipo, is off to a slow start, shooting just 5 for 21 during his first 2 games for the Miami Heat. Nick Friedel wrote that. So, yeah, Oladipo has not exactly hit his stride from a shooting standpoint, but once he does, I think it's going to be really, really big trouble, man. God, I'm so impressed with the Florida Panthers. They got 2 wins over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. They did the back-to-back sweep, including Chris Drieger getting a shutout yesterday in a 3-0 win against the Columbus Blue Jackets. First thing that really popped out at me, Alexander Barkov back from injury. God, he looks fantastic. I mean, it's impressive they were able to win games during his absence, and now they're still winning games during the absence of Aaron Ekblad, who's probably not going to be back if you saw the horrific injury that he suffered 8 days ago. Anthony DeClaire has been out after taking a big hit against the boards, but Barkov and Hornquist back. And I love the fact that in yesterday's game, Barkov was shooting the puck immediately, because that's always one thing that we scrutinize about his game. I mean, whenever we complain about Sasha Barkov, it's very nitpicky because he's one of the most talented players in the National Hockey League. But one of the complaints that we often have about Barkov is the same complaint we have about Bam Adebayo with the Miami Heat. Not always aggressive enough, right? That too often Barkey is thinking about distribution and getting his teammates involved when he needs to be shooting the puck, when he needs to be going for goal. And from the second the puck dropped yesterday, Barkov was going for goal, was putting it on the backhand, was threatening the goalie. He gets the opening goal in the game. He really, really looks sensational. And after the game, in the post-game interviews, our guy Dave Dwork asked him about that, and he even said, hey, good things happen when you put the puck on the net. Thank you, Barkey. Thank you, Barkey, for finally figuring that out, that when you're assertive and you take your shots, you miss, so what is that old cliche? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So there you go. Alexander Barkov is learning that lesson. And you look at the standings today. It's horny time. And I'm not talking about FIU's new special teams coach, but it is horny time as a Florida Panthers fan when you look at the standings. Nobody in the entire National Hockey League has more points than the Florida Panthers. 56 points on the season. Top of the NHL. Best team right now, record-wise, in the entire National Hockey League. It feels like a dream. When I wake up in the morning and I look at the NHL standings, and I'm a nerd, guys, I check them every single day. But when I check the NHL standings this morning and I see my beloved Florida Panthers sitting atop the league, atop the table with their 56 freaking points, it feels surreal to see that. And something we're going to get to a little bit later in the show, because I want to weigh in on the roundtable topic for today, and it pertains to the playoff possibilities for both the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers, and I want to get to that. But I want to remind you guys, give you a little context. I am a long-suffering Florida Panthers fan. I have been a fan of that franchise since the inception. I was in third grade when the franchise launched, 1993. I was all excited because the Miami Ducks movies had been out. The first one had been out for a couple of years. I think they just had or were about to make the second movie, so I was already buzzing about hockey anyway. And then all of a sudden, we've got a hockey team in South Florida. I have loved the Florida Panthers since the early 1990s. You know, I went to some games with my father during the run to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1996 when they're throwing rats on the ice